Thank you all for being here today to celebrate and honor my mom's life. Sean, Harrison, McCartney, and I are so humbled and grateful for the support shown to us during this difficult time. As I've thought about what I wanted to say today, I keep coming back to one thing. My parents changed the entire course of my life when they made the decision to adopt me. You all probably know or have seen photos of me and my childhood best friend, Hillary Nida, but not many people know how instrumental her family was in getting me placed with my parents. Hillary's grandfather, Dr. Patskowski, delivered me in Enid and knew my birth mother's wishes for me to be adopted. He then called his daughter, Hillary's mother, Patricia, to see if she knew of any nice, loving families in Alva who were looking to adopt. And sure enough, she did. Kent Allen and Verlinda Sue Gregg. I have always known I was adopted. It was never hidden from me. In her incredible motherhood instincts, my mom chose to tell me my adoption story as a bedtime story. The summarized version of that story that I heard nearly every night of my childhood is this. My mom and dad didn't think they were able to be parents, but they prayed to God, and he answered their prayer by sending an angel from heaven to bring me to my mom and dad, and that's why they gave me the name Angela. As a quick side note and a bit of levity, I very literally thought all children were just dropped off to their mom and dad's houses by angels for an embarrassingly amount of time, number of years. I will never admit how old I was when I learned where babies actually came from. As I've grown up and become a mother myself, I have often reflected on my childhood, and I am in absolute awe of the patience, grace, and unconditional love with which my parents raised me. They were always supportive of me and encouraged me to pursue the things that I showed an interest in, specifically dance, gymnastics, and piano. Mom and Dad enrolled me in my first dance class when I was only 2.5 years old. They never missed one single recital or performance. At that time, all of that time and money spent on lessons and dance shoes and costumes and driving to dance competitions paid off, as I've been a dance instructor and choreographer for 22 years. One of the most important things that has shaped me and how I treat others and how I parent my own children is how my mom and dad handled my mistakes. If I misbehaved or messed up, which I certainly did often, they never, and I truly mean never, led or parented me with shame. Instead, both my mom and dad were always so patient and kind and gentle as they corrected me and guided me in the right direction, even if they themselves were frustrated or disappointed in me. I can count on one hand the times either of them raised their voices at me. My parents taught me that compassion and understanding are often far better teachers than shame and condemnation. Verlinda and Kent were genuinely so thrilled to be parents, and it was evident in every single choice they made while raising me. That love and affection multiplied infinitely when my children were born. There is not a single thing my parents would not have done for their precious grandbabies. Verlinda and Kent wore the titles of Nana and Pop Pop so very proudly. They wanted Harrison and McCartney to come and stay with them in Alva any and every chance they got, just so they could spoil them rotten with unlimited fudgesicles and letting them pick out toys at Walmart and late bedtimes. Verlinda and Kit made my kids' childhood pure magic, just as they did mine. Not only was Verlinda an incredible mother and grandmother, she was also an amazing friend. Since her passing, I have had the privilege to speak with several of her very best friends that she has been close with since elementary school, 65 plus years of friendship. I've deeply cherished and found such comfort in hearing stories of their childhoods. Mardana shared with me one of the most brilliant things I think I've ever heard. She and my mom would split their math homework, one taking the even-numbered problems and the other taking the odd-numbered problems so that they each only had to do half the work. I was also told both Charlene and Mardana are the reason my mom and dad ended up together, as those sweet friends encouraged my dad to come and talk to Verlinda because they knew my mom was interested in him. They said Verlinda and Kent hit it off immediately. Mardana jokingly said she met Kent and then we never saw her again. Charlene also mentioned to me that she was the last of their friend group to get married, and my parents would always invite her out to eat with them so that she didn't feel left out. My mama loved and cared for her people, and that has been more than evident in every single story that has been shared with me. Lastly, I want to talk about my mom's faith. There are two scriptures that come to mind when I think of my mom and her relationship with the Lord and how she lived out her faith, and I'd like to share them with you. The first is the parable of the Good Samaritan found in Luke chapter 10. One day, an expert in religious law stood up to test Jesus by asking him this question: "Teacher, what should I do to inherit eternal life?" Jesus replied, "What does the law of Moses say? How do you read it?" The man answered, "You must love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, all your strength, and all your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself." "Right," Jesus told him, "do this and you will live." The man wanted to justify his actions, so he asked Jesus, "And who is my neighbor?" Jesus replied with a story. A Jewish man who was traveling from Jerusalem down to Jericho, and he was attacked by bandits. They stripped him of his clothes, beat him up, and left him half dead beside the road. By chance, a priest came along. But when he saw the man lying there, he crossed to the other side of the road and passed him by. A temple assistant walked over and looked at him lying there, but he also passed by on the other side. Then a despised Samaritan came along. And when he saw the man, he felt compassion for him. Going over to him, the Samaritan soothed his wounds with olive oil and wine and bandaged them. Then he put the man on his own donkey and took him to an inn, where he took care of him. The next day, he handed the innkeeper 2 silver coins, telling him, "Take care of this man. If his bill runs higher than this, I'll pay you the next time I'm here." Now, which of these 3 would you say was a neighbor to the man who was attacked by bandits? Jesus asked. The man replied, "The one who showed him mercy." Then Jesus said, "Yes, now go and do the same." The next verse I'd like to share that reminds me of my mom is found in James chapter 2, verse 14. "What good is it, dear brothers and sisters, if you say you have faith but don't show it by your actions? Can that kind of faith save anyone? Suppose you see a brother or sister who has no food or clothing, and you say, 'Goodbye and have a good day, stay warm and eat well,' but then you don't give that person any food or clothing. What good does that do? So you see, faith by itself is not enough. Unless it produces good deeds, it is dead and useless. Now, someone may argue some people have faith and others have good deeds. But I say, how can you show me your faith if you don't have any good deeds? I will show you my faith by my good deeds." My mom was the Samaritan. Her faith led her to the action of genuine care and love for other people, without judgment or condition. My mom did not have to tell you that she was a Christian. Her words and actions demonstrated it so very clearly. She actually lived out her faith. She lived it every time she asked you how you were doing and genuinely meant it and wanted to know. She lived it in the way she opened her home and her heart to any and all of my friends, and how warm and safe everyone always felt at 1115 Flint Street. She lived it in her relationships and how deeply she loved and cared for her parents, husband, daughter, grandchildren, and friends. There's a quote that comes to my mind: "Be careful how you live your life. You may be the only Bible that some people ever read." That was my mama. She showed the unconditional love and care of Jesus to every single person she ever encountered. I am deeply, deeply honored to have witnessed such a pure and sincere devotion to loving the Lord. There is not a single doubt in my mind she was greeted in heaven last Sunday with the words, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." While it's hard to imagine this world without her, and even though my heart is shattered to have lost the final piece of this incredible family unit who raised me, made me the woman I am today, I am incredibly grateful. I am grateful I was placed in her care. I'm grateful that she was my mom. I'm grateful for the life that she and my dad built for me. I'm grateful for every single memory, every lesson, every laugh, and every moment of love. One of the things that I've realized these past few days is that my mom's life can't be summed up by one person or one speech. As her daughter, I know there are so many sides of Verlinda that I did not get to see. The friend, the cousin, the coworker, the sister-in-law, the neighbor. Each of you carries a piece of who she was, and my family and I would be honored and would absolutely love the chance to hear those memories. So before we wrap up, I'd like to invite anyone who would like to share a memory or story of my mom to come forward and do so. From the bottom of my heart, thank you all so much for being here and loving my precious mama so well. My mom loved yellow flowers. And my hope for us all is that every time we see a yellow flower, that we would be reminded of how Verlinda's kindness and love brightened up our lives, and may it inspire us to do the same. Mama, thank you for choosing me. Thank you for giving me such a beautiful, beautiful life. I will carry your love with me always. I love you, and I will miss you forever.